All right, welcome in everybody. This is the Week 10 Adjusted Line Play Report first look. We're going to go through so you can see if there's any waiver wire pickups that you need or see these juicy matchups and get all that info that you need prior to starting your week. So hopefully it's a little bit of positive information for you to make some of these waiver wire decisions for you. I do have some dogs in the background that you might hear. But yeah, we're going to just go through, scroll through, and maybe comment here and there on some of these matchups. But getting into the Thursday night football game for Week 10, it's Carolina heading into Chicago. I always caveat here to pay attention to weather in these particular games. Thursday night football, always kind of a mixed match of what you're going to get in terms of the team outcome. We got some dogs fighting in the background here, but looking really good for the Chicago run game in this particular matchup against Carolina, so pay attention to that. Same opposite with Carolina not being very good in the run game, so heads up on that. All right, let's get down to got a game in Germany. Indianapolis and New England going into Germany, similar concept. Watch out for these games. They can be a little bit different here and there. Of note in this particular matchup, you want to look at the pace. Both teams super fast. That could play effect in this particular matchup. And keep that in mind because this is going to be an island game. So when you're doing those island matchups, we'll get a video out on Saturday regarding that. But it should be a pretty quickly paced game back and forth. Cleveland heading into Baltimore. First game of the main slate. Got a big mismatch here in terms of Cleveland's offense. We see red across the board for Cleveland's offense, green across the board for Baltimore's defense. Wouldn't expect Cleveland to be super good on offense on this, even with Deshaun Watson back. So take that into consideration for your start-sit decisions. Interesting part about Cleveland here is their defense is number one across the board in all aspects. So I would expect Baltimore to also struggle in the offensive department this week. All right, let's get into Houston and Cincinnati. It's a 7-point Vegas line, 48 Vegas game total here, second best on the slate. Cincinnati number one team implied total there at 27.5. Moving on. Another early game here, San Francisco and Jacksonville, 3-point Vegas line. Again, that's the third best total on the slate. We have New Orleans and Minnesota. New Orleans visiting Minnesota. They are actually 2.5-point road favorites here against the Vikings currently. And moving on to Green Bay and Pittsburgh. Pretty big mismatch here for Pittsburgh's defense against Green Bay's offensive line. Expect a lot of sacks from Pittsburgh. Here we have Tennessee and Tampa Bay. Very close game here, but a very low Vegas game total at 38 points. Interesting one here with the Dirty Birds, Atlanta versus Bird Gang here with Arizona. Close game according to Vegas at 42.5 here, 1-point favorites for Atlanta on the road. All right, getting into some of these other games, we have Detroit going into Los Angeles Chargers home stadium as 2.5-point road favorites. This is the number one game total on the slate at 48.5 points. Of note, Detroit offensive run blocking very good. Chargers not very good at stopping the run. Giants going into Dallas. This is a whopping 16-point favorite for Dallas at home. I've never seen an underdog here, so Vegas game total of 38.5. I've never seen a game total for a team implied total at 11. That is really, really low. 14, I think, is about the lowest I've ever seen it previously. Of note, I wouldn't expect the Giants to be moving the ball very well against this Dallas defense. Next up, Washington heading into Seattle. Seattle 6-point home favorites. Fourth best game total on the slate at 45.5. Of note, Seattle's offensive pass protection should be very good, and they should be able to move the ball very well in the air. Jake Bobo dart throws. If you're in a super deep league, go for it. Next, getting into some of the island matchups. Sunday Night Football, the Jets and Raiders. Jets are actually 1.5-point road favorites here against Las Vegas. And finally, Monday night, we have Denver heading into Buffalo. Buffalo are 7.5-point home favorites there. 47 Vegas game total, pretty solid. And we have Buffalo offense, which should be very, very good in this particular matchup. But we've seen this for Buffalo for a few weeks now, and it just hasn't come to fruition in terms of their offense putting up numbers. Does it change against Denver? Let's hope so for fantasy purposes. But that's going to do it for the whole slate there. Getting into the buys, we do have Kansas City and the Rams on bye currently. This is what they look like going into Week 10. And then Miami and Philadelphia, potential Super Bowl matchup here, looking like this as of Week 10. All right. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully you got a good first look here, got some targets that you can go through or just double check to see, if you're interested in a few people on the waiver wire, who's got the better matchup this week. Hopefully this helped you out. Thank you. See you on Saturday or the Thursday Night Theory. Bye.